Hey guys, what's going on? This is RJ from Game News USA, and today we're going to go over the top 10 tennis players of all time. Yes, this is men's tennis, so this isn't women's tennis we're going over. This is specifically men's tennis. This is also specifically singles, not doubles, not mixed major titles or whatever you accomplish there. We're just looking at the singles careers of the top 10 men's tennis players. Now, I will say this, mostly when it comes to this, who's ever won the most majors is probably going to win. There's a little bit of changes here. There's not that many tweaks. There's a little bit, and I'll go over that. But anyway, guys, thank you all for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. Let's get started. So, right off the bat, honorable mention to Ivan Lendl. He actually had 8 majors. He actually went to 19 major finals, but I couldn't put him over number 10 on the list. John McEnroe. What a character, man. And you cannot be serious. Who remembers when the chalk flew up? I'm sorry. Ivan Lendl has the personality of wallpaper compared to John McEnroe. And I understand that shouldn't really factor into who gets on the list and who doesn't. And yeah, he has 1 less major than Lendl. McEnroe only has 7. But I don't care. It's my list. And McEnroe gets on it just ahead of Lendl. So cry more. Number 9 on the list, Andre Agassi with 8 majors. As well as he's won on all the surfaces. He's won all 4 majors. So yeah, Andre Agassi, really great player, especially in the 90s when I grew up starting to watch tennis. But number 8 on the list, Jimmy Connors. Also with 8 majors, but he also has a long career where he actually has the most wins in men's tennis history, most match wins. It's like 1,274 wins. This guy was crazy. He played so long and got so many W's. So I need to see W's in the comments. Number 7 on the list, Bjorn Borg with 11 majors. Yes, it was like 6 French Opens and 5 Wimbledons, which were both insane for the time. He wasn't really good on hard court. But Bjorn Borg was very dominant in a small window. I think the guy retired at like 27 or something like that. But for those 5 or 6 years, those 2 majors, he just dominated grass and clay like we had never seen before on both surfaces at the same time. So Bjorn Borg is number 7 on the list. Number 6, the only one that pretty much predates the Open era, Roy Emerson. He had 12 majors. It predated the Open era, which, you know, for those of you that don't know, that's when the competition got a lot better after 1968. But I got to give it to him, number 6 on the list. But even though he has less majors, Rod Laver's number 5 on the list. He has 11 majors. But he also has, and I believe he did this in 1968, he has the Grand Slam where he won all 4 majors in 1 year. He was very iconic. He was widely regarded as the greatest tennis player of all time for many, many years until number 4 on the list came about. Pete Sampras with 14 majors. Which at the time that he broke Rod Laver's record, people were saying, we'll never see it again. Well, we've seen it again. We've seen more than that again, and I'll get over that in a second. But Pete Sampras, 14 majors. The only major he didn't win was the French Open. But he did win 7 Wimbledons, which I think is the best major in tennis. But what came next? The greatest 3 players of all time showed up. And before I get into the top 3, let me explain something. That's really interesting. Imagine if you had Joe Montana, Terry Bradshaw, and Tom Brady all playing in the... actually, make it Patrick Mahomes. Imagine if you had Patrick Mahomes, Tom Brady, and Joe Montana all playing in the same era but still winning just as many Super Bowls. And nobody else feasted hardly. That was this era. That was this era of tennis we just seen. It's really come to an end, I think, because Djokovic didn't win a major this year. Maybe he's done, and the other two have retired, I believe. So, I think this era is over, but it was 20 years of dominance. Starting with number 3 on the list, Roger Federer with 20 majors kicked this off at Wimbledon 2003. The man won 8 Wimbledons. Still the record, 8 Wimbledons. The king of grass. And I believe was going to be the greatest of all time, and was for a little while there. He passed Sampras, and for a little while there, he was the GOAT. But he got passed up by number 2 on the list. His rival, Rafael Nadal. 22 majors, and a ridiculous 14 of them being French Opens. And by the way, Roger did have the career slam, and so did Nadal. They won on all the surfaces. Nadal won on all the surfaces twice at least. 22 majors. But then, he got passed up by the GOAT, and I personally don't like this guy. But I will give credit where credit is due. Novak Djokovic is number 1 on the list with 24 majors. And it's not just the majors. He has the most weeks ranked number 1 of all time as well. He is an Olympic gold medalist now. He did do that in 2024 and got that kicked off his bucket list. The man's done it all. He's won all 4 majors 3 times over at least. He's won the Australian Open like 10 times. You know, he's won a Wimbledon like 7 times. A US Open 4 times. A French Open 3 times. In an era where Nadal won the French Open 14 times. He was able to snag 3 anyway. Novak Djokovic, number 1 on the list. I can't argue it. You know, for a while there, it was nip and tuck. Like, you know, you look at the numbers through the years, you know, you just seen Federer had the lead. Nadal was coming up. Djokovic behind him. And it just slowly, as the years went on, you know, Nadal passed Federer. Djokovic passed Federer. Djokovic passed Nadal. You just seen it over a slow, gradual time. And that's where we sit at, with Novak Djokovic being the GOAT of tennis. I hope you all enjoyed that video. I did. Please remember to come back and check out more of my content. Peace. Have a good one. I'm out.